Hi everyone! In today's video I'm going to show you how to create this cozy crochet hat perfect for all ages. We will walk through how to create the hat itself and how to make a fun pom-pom to go with it. This is fairly quick project and the tutorial is beginner friendly, so if you are just starting out, this is a great project for you. In today's tutorial I'm using aran yarn and 5.5mm crochet hook. I will also need scissors, a needle, and a stitch marker. For the pom-pom I will use a DK yarn. I'm also providing a chart for hat lengths and circumferences, but remember, this is just a guide. Everyone's tension is different and head size vary, so it's always a good idea to check your work as you go along. If you don't have a measuring tape, this chart gives you an idea of how many stitches your foundation chain will likely have. The chart I'm providing is based on this hat and includes the ribbing. We will begin by making the foundation chain, which will determine the length of our hat. I'm making a hat for 2 years old child. I'm chaining 40. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, so chain 40 is 11 inches and 28 centimeters. Okay, let's start row number 1. We start row number 1 by making one single crochet into the second chain from the hook. And now insert your hook under this front loop, this one. Okay, so do not yarn over, just insert your hook under this loop like that. And now insert your hook under next chain over here, so over here. Yarn over, pull through first stitch. Yep, and now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Place the stitch marker onto the first stitch you made. Insert your hook under the front loop over here, so this front loop. And now insert your hook into next chain. Yarn over, pull through first loop. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Again, insert your hook into that front loop. Then insert your hook into next chain. Yarn over, pull through first loop. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And again. So you will continue this stitch until you reach the 3rd chain from the end, okay? Make a slip stitch into next 3 chains. So slip stitch, yarn over, pull through first loop, pull through second loop, second slip stitch, yarn over, pull through first loop, pull through second loop, and 3rd slip stitch, yarn over, pull through first loop, yarn over, pull through second loop. So this is your row number 1 done. So you should have 1 single crochet. Depending on the size of the hat you are making, you should have our stitch here and the slip stitches at the end. 3 slip stitches at the end. Now chain 1 and turn your work, and let's start row number 2. We'll start to work in the back loops only. So from now we'll work inside these loops. Okay, so make one slip stitch into first 3 stitches. This is your first slip stitch, this is your second slip stitch, and this is a third slip stitch. Now make one single crochet into next stitch. Remember to work in the back loop. And we are starting our stitch again. So insert your hook under this front loop and then insert your hook into next stitch, but in the back loop only. Okay, remember we are working in the back loops only from now on. Yarn over, pull through first loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Insert your hook under the next front loop and then under next stitch, yarn over, pull through first loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and continue until end of the row. And the last stitch. Chain 1, turn your work. Row number 3, start with a single crochet, then make our stitch until you reach the 3rd stitch from the end. Okay, 1 single crochet in the back loop, replace the marker, and now let's start our stitch. So insert your hook into first front loop, then into next stitch but in the back loop only, and continue until you reach the 3rd stitch from the end. And make 1 slip stitch into the last 3 stitches. Then chain 1, turn your work, and that's basically it. Repeat rows 2 and 3 alternately until you reach the width you need. Let's make one more row together. Make 1 slip stitch into first 3 stitches, 2, 3, then make a single crochet into the next stitch. Remember to work in the back loops only. Now insert your hook into the front loop and into the back loop of the next stitch. Yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Continue until end of the row. I will see you when I finish all of my rows. Alright, I have finished building the width of the hat. I have done 42 rows. It's important to finish on this side. So if you finish on the side with 3 slip stitches, make 1 more row so that you finish here, okay? Now fold the hat in half so that the side with the hook is on the right side. We need to join the 2 shorter edges together, and we can do it either with a needle or with the crochet hook. And I will show you how to do it with the crochet hook today. We will work under the back loops from this side, so under these loops, and under this loop from the other side. Okay, so chain 1, insert your hook into the first back loop from this side, and then insert your hook into this loop from the other side, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. 1, 2 and 3. So we are making a slip stitch. Insert your hook under back loop of the next stitch and insert your hook into the next stitch from the other side and make a slip stitch, and continue until end of the row. And this is how the seam looks on the wrong side. On the right side it's invisible. Now we are going to close this top opening. Cut the yarn but leave a tail of about 12 inches. Make 1 or even 2 knots. Making this knot here is quite an important step. If you don't have the second tail, just make a knot using a needle. Like that. Yeah, make a knot. Now thread the needle through these top loops, going through one, then the next. As you work, you can slowly tighten the opening every few stitches, but you can also leave that for the end. Continue all around. Now pull the tail to close the opening, and while closing it, make sure the folds are even on both sides. Don't pull the yarn too tight to avoid breaking it. Once the opening is closed, make a few knots to secure the hat. Then turn the hat inside out and make another couple of knots. And then cut your yarn. It's time for the pom-pom. I decided to make it in a different color using DK yarn. You can make a big pom-pom in the middle or two smaller ones on the sides. I will show you how to make a pom-pom using your hand. First, wrap the yarn around your hand. Make sure to wrap it loosely around your hand, not too tight. Once you have enough yarn, cut it. Cut about 12 inches of yarn. And tie it in the middle. Make sure to tie it tightly. It can't come undone because if it does, your pom-pom will fall apart. Leave the two longer tails. We will need them to attach it to the hat later. And now take a scissor and start to cut. And now start to trim. Give it a shape of a ball. The shorter you trim it, the denser your pom-pom becomes. Just remember to not cut these two longer tails, okay? And then continue to trim it. I think it's not enough. I will trim it a bit more. And now I will attach the pom-pom to the hat. I will thread these two ends onto the needle. And now I will make a few knots from this side. And then hide the tails inside. And your hat is almost done. The last thing is securing the ribbing. I'm doing it with the needle. I will leave a bit longer tail to hide it later on. Make 1 or 2 knots and hide the tails inside. Do it from the other side as well. And that's the hat is done. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please leave thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.